Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Xgene and proteinX. In this tutorial video, I'm going to talk about how to get rid of yeast contamination. So yeast contamination are generally it's pretty common in the cell culture process, and during the cell culture processing, this kind of contamination happens. So we need to know that how to get rid of this kind of contamination. So let's get started. So first, you need to know that how to detect yeast in the cell culture dish or flask. So visually you need to check first in the cell culture media in the dish or flask very carefully, and if it in the initial level, then you can find the tiny white suspended particles in the cell culture media, and these kind of particles are round shape normally. So if you find these kind of particles, and then you need to carefully observe under microscope. But after a couple of days, you might get this kind of colony formation in your cell culture media that suspend. So, but initially when you check under microscope, then you will get this kind of morphology of the yeast. So here is the 4x, 10x, and 20x images of the yeast. So these are very unique shape, so you can easily detect if you know the morphology of the yeast, so you can easily recognize that yeast contamination. So if you initial level, if you can detect it, then there is a chance to not to contaminate the other cells. But once the cells are yeast contaminated, then the other cells of the incubator, there is a higher chance of to get contaminated. So very careful about it. So next is what measures need to be taken after getting the yeast contamination. So first we need to investigate the source of the yeast contamination. That is the most important point. So after that, you need to discard all of the PBS media and or the stuffs that you use for the cell culture, and you need to re-sterilize your pipette tips. Discard the incubator water, and then clean the incubator very properly with sodium hypochlorite followed by 70% ethanol, and then overnight expose UV inside the incubator. This is very much important. And then better not to try to recover any yeast contaminated cells using antifungal agents. So if you have plenty of cells or available cells that you culture, so don't to recover those kind of contaminated cells. And next is what if you have the last dish of the important cells get yeast contaminated. So that is, in that case, you can try to recover those kind of yeast contaminated cells. That also possible. So my next tutorial part is that how to eliminate this kind of yeast contaminated cells and how to recover. So here is the how to eliminate yeast from the contaminated cells. So what you have to do first, you can if you have the contaminated cell, then you need to aspirate the media and then replace the media with the fresh media, but very carefully. And if you use this kind of media, don't use the same media or ABS for the other cells culture. So and then fresh complete media, and then at the same time use amphotericin B 0.25 to 2.5 microgram per ml directly into the cell culture dish. So this amphotericin B, it is an antifungal agent, and it works very well to eliminate yeast from the cell culture dish. So here actually there are some instructions to use the amphotericin B. So basically amphotericin B need to store -20 degrees centigrade, but thaw and freezing cycle, this is not good for the good potency of the amphotericin B. It may degrade the amphotericin B. So what you have to do, you can the small portion, or like 2 ml or 4 ml, you can just you can separate in the 1.5 ml tube, and those tube you can use for the cell culture. But all of the stock you need to store at minus 20 degrees centigrade. The amphotericin B, it loses its potency at 37 degrees centigrade after 72 hours. So at max 3 days it can maintain its antifungal effect at 37 degrees centigrade. So this is why don't need to keep 3 days long your cell at the same amphotericin B. So every 2 days change media and add fresh amphotericin B. This is very much important. So if you keep that contaminated cells, only one time you add, and then you can keep it long, like more than 3 days or 4 days, then it not might that kind of antifungal effect, it will lose easily. So this is why every 2 days you need to change the media and add fresh amphotericin B. And amphotericin B successfully eliminates yeast in a week. And also people, they use amphotericin B and nystatin at the same time, but amphotericin B also only alone, it also works very well. So here I will show that I got this kind of yeast contaminated cells, and cells were not growing very well. But when I started amphotericin B treatment, and after 7 days I found that transfected cells, these are grow very well. So next we need to know that how amphotericin B it works, the mechanism action of the amphotericin B. Basically the yeast that it has the cell membrane, and this cell membrane, it contains the ergosterol. So this is the sterol, and that maintain cell membrane integrity. But the pollen antimycotic agent like amphotericin B and nystatin, it bind with the ergosterol. As a result, the efficacy of the ergosterol is decrease, and it no longer work, and then the pore formation occurs in the cell membrane. So it leads to the leak out of ions and nutrient of the yeast. So eventually the yeast cell death occurs. So this is how amphotericin B or nystatin, it works as antifungal agent. So I hope this video will be helpful. If you like this video, kindly hit the like button, share it, and please subscribe my channel. And if you have any queries, kindly write in the comment section. Thanks.